Hey! What's going on, Mech Army? Welcome. Sorry, running a little bit behind here. It's Friday. Shirtless. No. Not for you, Z. He's over there on YouTube. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Chada Mecha livestream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Chada Mecha. It's Friday. And I'm just kind of running behind a little bit today. Not a big deal. No hat, no shirt today. Well, I mean, we could redo that. It's the best I got. Unfortunately, it was just sitting here. And this is the one I wore yesterday, so it's kind of like recycling, but whatever. Anyway, here we go. It's Friday. I can't wait. Hey, if you guys want one of these amazing, awesome Anaheim Electronics hats, go get you one. www.childofmecha.com. Hit up the store button up at the top. You will find this hat, many more shirts and prints and all sorts of other cool stuff on there. Go load it up. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we are going to be working with here today, I highly suggest that you hit the Amazon link just below somewhere here on YouTube and Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it does not increase the cost for you, and it goes to help out me, help out the stream, and all of the other cool endeavors that we're going to be working on here in the very, very near future. And, as always, if you are interested in kits, paints, accessories, tools, what have you, Mecha Decals Sheets 1 and 2, those are both in stock and shipping now. Hit up our good friends right down yonder, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine crew down there will definitely have what you need. Excuse me. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, it's Friday. Alex Andrews says, can't wait for what, Tim? For the weekend! For the weekend. This full-time stream, man, it's quite the grind. Yeah. Bill says, when going out in public, you gotta ask, what would Tim do? WWTW, what would Tim want? Or what would Tim I don't know. Anyway. Sam Ellis has got my order for Mecha Decal 01 today. 02 should be in tomorrow. There we go. Yeah. Alexander says, wait, a weekend? What's that? It's a weekend when I can actually get shit done. That's what a weekend is now. There's no time during the week, that's for damn sure, at this point, but yeah. Oh, Ruslan, okay, so the WWTW, what would Tim wear? And the answer is anything from the Chada Mecha store. I mean, for the most part, yeah, for the most part. You know, this is just like a nice little waffle knit Henley with a little white t-shirt underneath. It's a good look, you know. Maybe rock a crew neck sweater. Yeah. It's a little chilly here today, so yeah. We gotta go back to winter clothes. It sucks. It was 74 here on Wednesday, and now today the high is like 51. Like, make up your mind. But it is Maryland, so that's kind of par for the course, right? At least for those of you that know anything about Maryland weather, that is, which are probably very few of you. Hey. Alright, so with that being said, we're going to jump right into working. We're going to lose the hat, and we're going to hit up camera 2. Look at that, you don't even have to pay for that one today. Alright, so, if you saw the Instagram, Facebook post, whatever, wherever, you saw me kind of get a head start on the backside of the arm here. I kind of went ahead and scribed all the detail on this little piece right here, right? Also went ahead and outline scribed the upper arm. So scribed out all of this nice little detail around the raised bits on this arm, and also kind of did some notches and stuff like that on there. And yeah, so that's basically what we're going to be duplicating here today on the other piece. these bits down here, right? So we're going to get most of that crap out of the way first, and then we're going to focus on this guy right here. So if we take a look at its counterpart, if we just kind of gently pull that guy off of there and we compare notes, you can kind of see the look that we're going to be, look what we're going for there, yeah? I think that looks really good. It's very simple, very, very simple. Just some, straight lines, a box scribe, notches. Pretty straightforward, really, right? Pretty straightforward. So that's what we're going to be starting with today, right? And we should be able to knock that out pretty quickly. Excuse me. Let's see. Commissar Stanley says, "Let's be real though, Tim. These streams are awesome. Gunpla Dad." Really, Gunpla Dad? I'm more of a Gunpla uncle. Alex Andrews, thank you for the reminder. We'll turn her off so there's no false alarms. Really, really. Ruslan says, "Cook some chili. It'll warm you up." Oh, dude, no. The Henley is nice and warm right now, so I am good to go. William Wim says, "If you're cold, then make a simple hot toddy." Sounds like something like my grandmother would have drank back in the 70s or 60s or something. Anyway. Alex Andrews says, is it off? Really, really? Alexa! Yeah, she's off. So, you guys, William Wilms got his hat today, and he was really psyched about it. He posted about that on Instagram and on good old Twitter, and it looked good, didn't it? I thought it came out really nice. So, go hit up, what is it, at 3 Wilms to see the pictures of his hat. Camo with the black Mecha Army on it. Kind of looked pretty slick, I'm not going to lie. Kind of looked pretty slick. Anywho, alright, so, first things first. What we're going to do is start to duplicate these lines here. Now, the basis for this particular piece is this one scribe that goes all the way around. And as you can see, that's a bit of a thicker line. That's a 0.3 millimeter right down here at the bottom. So we're going to start with that. And all we really are going to need is our simple scribing jig. Now, if I remember, that's a 2 millimeter. Let's see. Oop, that's the wrong piece. Yeah, that's a 2 millimeter scribe all the way around here. So we're going to grab our 0.3 millimeter chisel, and then we're going to start to get to work here, yeah? Let's see. William says, I did, wearing it now, loving it. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. All right. So we get our little scribing jig going here. Let's get the camera focused. There we go. And like I said, we're just going to go all the way around with this guy. There we go. That's a little bit easier to hold right there. And like I said, this particular line, whoop, there we go. This particular line is the basis for what we do here for the rest of this piece. So we'll just get this scribed right around here. We'll do obviously the big surfaces first, and then we'll come back and connect the two beveled sides. And this particular design that we did here, obviously it's all done just with simple scribing jigs. It's very, very simplistic. So like I said, it doesn't take very long at all to complete these scribes. Especially since there's no tape involved. Tape is great, but if you can get away with not using it, it speeds up your process so much. And for a project like this, and you know, kind of these little pieces that are just, you know, almost throwaway type pieces because you're really hardly ever going to see these, a simple design like this is going to be very, very efficient and honestly just kind of the way to go, in my opinion anyways. You know, save the fancy stuff for the surfaces that you're actually going to see when the finished model is displayed, right? Just connect these two beveled sides. Just like that. And connect this little guy right here. And there we go. There is our 0.3 millimeter scribe line all the way around there, which again serves as the basis for everything. Very quick, very simple, very efficient. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alright, so now we're going to create this box right here that comes up off of that little scribe line, right? So for this box, I'm pretty sure I used a 2 millimeter again for the sidelines. No, I didn't. I used a 1.5. Hey, how about that? Yep. Okay. So for those sides, we used 1.5. So we're gonna come up here. Just make some guide marks here so we know where our top line of this box needs to stop. Alright, so right there. And then for the top of that box, I think that was a 4.8 if I'm not mistaken. And it was, yeah. There we go. So we take the 4.8 and we're not going to use the 0.1 or 0.30 anymore. We're going to switch off to 0.15. And what we're going to do first is scribe this top line between the two pencil marks. Now we'll probably have to extend this in both directions once we get the two side pieces scribed in, simply because the pencil lead usually is a little proud of the actual scribing jig, right? So, yeah, let's see. So for this, it's just it's about a 1/4 millimeter or so off the mark, so to speak, right? So we'll just have to kind of manually connect that line right there in the corner, which obviously isn't all that difficult. And there we go. All right, and then we'll do the same thing to the other side here. We'll just connect these two lines. Get that started there, and then flip it around to our natural hand position here. And finish this off by connecting the corner. And then we'll just use the 0.3 to clean out the debris on that bottom line one more time. Just like that. And there's our box scribe. Easy. Easy stuff. Going very quickly, too, I might add. Which is good. Which is really good. Alright. Let's get caught up real quick with the chat, yeah? Brandon says, or just do a shot of whiskey, cut out the middleman. Hey, that's for later tonight. Let's see. Taylor is over there on YouTube. Says, for making a simple scribing jig, what would be the best to use? Super glue or Tamiya cement? Super glue, definitely. You just get, it's so much quicker, and then you don't get any weird flexing from the solvent or anything like that. But you know, of course, alignment is kind of the big thing to worry about when you're putting together the pieces for your scribing jigs. Alignment is absolutely crucial. So just take your time. Take your time. William Wim says, use super glue, dries quicker. Also, if you have 1, 2, 3 blocks, use those as well to help with 90-degree wall. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, actually, should have. We have a question. That should have been a question. Sorry, Taylor. Forgot the button here, buddy. Let's see. Brandon5269, he's got a question. Let's reload the button. There we go. Hey, we got another one. If you do not have question, if you don't have a 1, 2, 3 block, what is the easiest way to ensure an almost true 90-degree when making jigs? You could use a lot of things. You know, you can use a little wave T-square. You can use one of these little Zona L squares. You can use little metal General protractor. You can use, let's see, any sort of metal ruler with a square end. You know, anything like that will get you to 90. So, yeah. Sam L, use a machinist square. That too. Exactly. Hey, there's little James. What's going on, buddy? James Quinsat. He's over there in the Mecha Army Facebook group. If you guys don't know James, he finished second in the world in 2018 at GBWC. He says, really glad to see you keeping busy and building as always. Buddy, thank you, brother. I hope you guys are doing the same. James actually works at Otaku ME over there in beautiful Dubai, right? And I was lucky enough to go over there at the beginning of the year before all of this stuff started. and spend, you know, a few days with those guys over there and take part in the Otaku ME Modelers Cup, right? Ah, such a good time. Such a good time. So, and those guys are great over there. Case and everybody, the whole gang at Otaku ME, just wonderful people. Wonderful people. So, James, hey, man, give everybody my best. Definitely. Give everybody my best. Let's see. Commissar Stanley over here on YouTube, he says, on the topic of modifications like scribing, I don't have a scribing tool, so... Oh, this is a question.
We have a question.
So what kind of details could I add to a surface besides scribes? How would you do it, and what tools would you use? Well, first off, you don't necessarily need a chisel to scribe lines, right? You could definitely use the back side of a hobby knife, right? So where did it go? It's around here somewhere. I know it is. I know it's here somewhere. What did I... Oh, it's over there. Shit. Stay there. Just don't move. Just stay right there. Just hang on. All right, I'm back. Anyway, you can use the backside of just an old X-Acto blade, right? So all you got to do, number one, dull the blade part down, right? Take like a file or some sandpaper or something like that and just kind of really just dull that down so it doesn't cut you. Step one, right? And then take just a pair of pliers, right? And just take and just snip off just the tiniest little bit that you can right off the end of that. And then you've got kind of a beginner scribing tool, right? Real simple to do. Actually makes pretty decent lines because we've tested it against real chisels. And yeah, so you can use that to scribe lines and to basically just practice your technique and everything until you're able to get chisels, right? So trust me, that works really good. That's how I started in terms of scribing lines and stuff like that. And then, you know, saved up my money, moved on to chisels, and then kind of the rest is history after that, right? So yeah, so you can definitely use the backside of a hobby knife to begin with, and yeah, you'll be in good shape after that. Real good shape. Scuffles over there says, if you're in a bind and need a 90-degree angle, Legos have an extremely high tolerance. It's true. Actually, an extremely low tolerance because they are super 90 degrees, right? Commissar Stanley says, like rivets and such. Yeah, rivets and all that good stuff. You can do, let's see, Wave or actually Kotobukiya actually make little rivets and things like that. You can always also use these guys right here. These little kind of sewing pins. You can clip the heads off of these and insert those just with a, you know, use a little drill and make sure you countersink those a little bit just to get them just a little bit below the surface. Nothing crazy. But yeah, third-party parts, like William said, Kotobukiya and other third parties, they make little detail things. But yeah, man, try the backside of a hobby knife, starting to scribe lines and stuff like that. Trust me, you'd be surprised how well it works. Let's see. William Williams says, look at Tim's videos and find his simple details class video. He talks about using styrene strips to add details to models, also Kotobukiya and third-party parts. Exactly, yeah. That would be a kind of ashamed I didn't think of that, but that's actually a very, very good idea to do. Let's see. Julius has a question.
We have a question.
He says, do you cut the different sizes for the scribe templates or use pre-cut styrene strips? I always use the pre-cut stuff, mainly because that is always consistent, right? Always consistent. So with Evergreen, it usually goes, in terms of thickness, let's see, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1 millimeter, 1.5, 2 millimeter, 3.2, 4, 4.8, and then 6.3. That's usually the levels of width and thicknesses that you can get. I think 2.5 is in there somewhere as well, but to a lesser extent in some of the thicknesses. But that kind of gets you, an idea of where we go with things. But yeah, I make a basically I can make a scribing jig on most of those thicknesses and widths and stuff like that. So yeah, always use pre-cut strips and stuff when you make that, simply because of consistency. Yeah. James says, hey, I'm building 2 right now, by the way. Nice, thanks, man. I'll let the guys know. Awesome. James is such a cool dude, man. James was great. I love hanging out with James. It was so much fun. Terry T's over there on YouTube. He says, if scribing is a subtractive detailing, you can go the opposite way and do additive details like styrene plates and strips. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Christian Campos is over there on YouTube. He says, have you ever found... Oh, this is a question.
We have a question.
There we go. Have you ever found yourself buying more tools than you actually need? Always. Yeah. Always. Yeah. I have bought stuff that has been actually so bad that I've never used before, or again, I should say. I was so sold on this Chinese like measuring tool, right? And it looked so good, right? And it looked like it would just kind of be perfect, a perfect tool to use for different measuring and stuff like that. I got it, and it was crap. Spent, I think, $40 on it. Got it off Taobao and everything, and then just, yeah, basically straight to the bin. So yeah, that happens. For every stinker tool that you buy, you're going to get many other tools that are just going to be amazingly wonderful and that you use a lot, right? So it's just the way of the beast. Sam L says you can never have too many tools. I agree with that. Julie says I have bought so many tools after watching many of Tim's streams. Yeah, but the ones that you guys see on like the Amazon link, those are all decent. Those are all good, right? I don't put anything on there that I don't like swear by. Trust me. Sam L says same, and I think I've used all of them so far. There we go. Chris Barnes is over there on YouTube. He says Plastruct makes tiny hex rods. Yeah, those could be good for like bolts and stuff like that if you cut the rod really thin. Yeah. Although at 1/100 scale, you're probably not going to see those bolts anyway. So you're probably easier just to drill stupid little teeny tiny holes if you really want that riveted look that more or less replicates the look of rivets at that scale, right? Let's see. Robert Cottrell's over there on Facebook. What's going on, Robert? Thank you for watching again. Alex Andrews says, how was your walk today, Tim? I have not gone yet. Have not gone yet. That's another thing that I'm running late on. It's just been one of those days, man. It was weird. Like, I passed out stupid early last night. Got up insanely early this morning. Got up at, I think it was like 4:45 this morning. And then I've just been nose to the grindstone ever since. And I just have lost track of time. And, yeah, so that's just been kind of the story for today. Bill says, Mr. Ruslam says, if you don't have the tools, ask around. There is normally a way to work without a tool or to improvise a tool. Absolutely. Absolutely. There are many different paths to your endpoint, right? Just because I do it a certain way doesn't mean it's the best way for you, right? Keep that in mind. There are many, many different ways to the end. Chris Degger wants to know, what's Taobao? Taobao, like Bill has mentioned there in the chat, is a Chinese website. It's a commerce site, marketplace, if you will. Someone like AliExpress or Amazon. Right, exactly. Taobao is pretty much like a Chinese Amazon. But instead of them housing and shipping a bunch of products, they are simply a marketplace for other companies to, showcase their products and stuff. A lot of Chinese companies have, stores on Taobao, and I've bought a bunch of stuff off there. Not recently, but yeah, I mean, I've gotten tools from there, I've gotten kits from there, I've gotten add-on accessories, metal parts, resin parts, all sorts of stuff on there. Decals, some good, some not so good, right? Yeah, it's overall, it's a really, really good site to get accessories on, find different tools and stuff. There are limitations, obviously, the language barrier being the foremost, but another one, obviously, is you can't really buy paint and stuff on there, or like chemicals or anything, simply because of shipping restrictions, right? Yeah, buying, tools on there and stuff, yeah, it's decent. It's hit and miss, obviously. But buying like conversion parts and metal parts and stuff like that, oh yeah, it's the best. Like you literally can get metal parts for like $2-3 for like a pack of metal parts, right? Like little metal details and stuff. So you can get like little, just stupid little round metal parts, 20 to a pack for like $2-3. Just, yeah, they're great. So Taobao is wonderful. Obviously, with everything going on right now, ordering from there would probably be pretty difficult, if not impossible. And then the other caveat, you're probably going to need to go through a brokerage company to not only translate for you, but to collect your orders from the different stores on there and then ship it to you in one package. So that's a little bit of an increase in cost, but still, bottom line, you're going to be saving a ton of money even after all that. So Taobao is a great little site, but again, with everything going on, it's probably going to be pretty difficult to impossible to order off of there right now. So one of those things. Have to wait for all this to get passed, right? Brandon says, okay, off to do schoolwork later, everyone. Brandon, take care, buddy. Let's see. Let's see. There's Miss Tex Marquise Armida. What's going on? And Julio, he says, what up, what up? Looks like Julio's stalking Armida. That's not good. Alex Andrews says, so we had the Wednesday of Chris, Monday of Julio. What's next? I don't know, man. William says, I thought Julio was here to see if Tim takes his shirt off. No. Hey, look at that. Julio says my verification cleared on YouTube. Might have to do my first YouTube stream tomorrow. There we go. Bro Builder, Mr. Brian, he says hit or miss. I thought you didn't miss. Lol. Miss what? I don't know. I'm lost. Anyway. Written wisely, absolutely for me. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks off work. Whew, yeah. Fudabe always says hello. Let's see. Armina's like, not much going on. Just thank God it's Friday. I'm done with this week. Yeah. Yeah. Chris Pabs, amen. Right? Let's see. Kelvin Branham is over there on YouTube from 2019 SCGMC 160th Jesta. Whisper it to Bandai Mecha Commander and F-14 small feet. You get on it. Kelvin, you lost me on that one, man. I'm sorry. I tried to read it, but I'm kind of lost with that. Sorry. Elaborate for me. I don't know. Terry T says the big thing I learned while in China is that 90% of the stores cannot accept Western credit cards. Having a third-party broker helps. Yeah, well, especially with translation and stuff, though, too, you know. Written Wisely says you need TikTok to get the hit or miss reference. Fair enough. I don't do that shit. Bill says Tim is not an angel. No shirt doesn't fly on his streams. Fair enough. Coach Chooch, Julio says. Chris Digger says, yep, I work in the film industry. Oh, 3 weeks no work here as well. Sigh. Yeah. Yeah, that's getting hit pretty hard, right? Phew. Almost as much as creatives, graphic design and all that. So, cheers, man. Put me in, Chooch. I like it. Coach Chooch is going to give you those builder sweats. Wow. So much innuendo. Anyway, back to work. Let's see here. So we've got our box scribed in. We've got our big bottom line scribed in. What's next here? We got to do a little bit of part separation here on kind of the upper half and lower half there, and then a couple scribes, and then we're calling this piece done for it, right? And then we'll kind of move on, and I'll kind of show you how I did the outline scribes on this raised detail on the bicep piece here, yeah? Because that was tedious and not fun, but it's going to be something good to show, I think. So, let's see. Now, for this, all I'm going to do, let's see, I don't know if 6.3 did the trick or not, and it did not. It's just a hair kind of off the mark. So, what we did was I just took a piece of styrene here, right? And just kind of held it in place ever so carefully. Right about there. And 0.15. And we just go through. Couple quick swipes to get the groove set in, and then we remove that, and now we can kind of go back in here and start to reinforce this line and deepen it a bit and get it to looking good where we need it to be, right? And there we go. As close to freehanding a scribe line as you can get, yeah? About as close. So now all we got to do is set in our two little notches there, and then this piece is done, right? Kind of overall, this piece has taken us, what, maybe 10 or so minutes at tops. So, yeah. Let's see. William says, oh, we already read that. Julio says, make your run burpees. Claw plate burpees. Oof. No thank you. Commissar Stanley says, YouTube chat makes no sense. Tim, I'm sorry, but I don't understand your foolery. LOL, love it. Yeah, it's just par for the course here. William Williams says, 30-second plank scribes. See, that we can get down with. Tex says, the only burpees I do are from chugging. Whoa. Written Wisely says, I'm an instructor. I'm half scared to see the condition that my students come back in. Whew, yeah, tell me about it. Julio says, chisel discipline. You're damn right. Yeah, alright, so, moving on. So, let's see. What were these? These were 0.3, I think? No, those were 0.6. Those were big boys. Okay. So we're going to grab 0.60, right? And let's see what where these fell here. I think these were at 2 millimeter. Yeah, it looks like these are at 2 millimeter. Yep. Perfect. Okay, so grab our 2 millimeter scribing jig here. We'll put this right up against the piece, and we'll get these two little notches popped in here. Now, when you're dragging out a little notch like this, you want to get the groove set in first. You want to get kind of the form set in, and then remove the scribing jig, and then just with the tip of the chisel kind of move that debris out of the way, right? And then go back in there, pull that a few more times, and then slide that debris out of the way with the very, very edge of your chisel. And then you can just kind of blow that out of the way there. Simply because these notches here are so short, that buildup at the edge or at the end of your scribe is going to be more trouble than if this was a much longer line, right? Simply because you're not going to have much real estate to scribe that chisel or scribe that notch in, so that debris starts to build up and back up into the notch. So clearing that out very, very often, definitely a good thing, right? Alright, so we'll go funky hand position here. We're gonna go scribe or basically jig up on this thing. Now, I don't usually like to do or hold the jig above the chisel. I like the chisel above the jig, simply because I can see it better, because this casts shadows onto what I'm seeing. So we'll get that set in, that shape, and then start to clear that material out of here. There we go. Almost. We just gotta square this up right at the top there. And there we go. Alright, so chisel discipline. And let's get the 0.15 here to clean out that line. And actually, there's just a little bit more cleanup that we got to do in that last notch here. So we're going to hold this opposite to what we did before. We're going to pull this from the other way to clear up that bottom there. That should do it. Perfect. Okay, so let's get you guys zoomed in on this so you can kind of see the comparison of both of these pieces here. Just like that. And let's see. There we go. All right. So obviously these are upside down. But this gives you a really clear picture of how well we can duplicate with with scribing jigs and stuff like that. So this is the original. This is the duplication that we just did. So we've got the 0.3 millimeter baseline right here. This part goes toward the wrist of the arm, and we've got our box scribes that we duplicated really nicely, and then we've got our separation line here on both of these pieces. So this piece here basically looks separate from this piece, and we've got our two little notches there to represent hinges or panel locks or whatever, right? So that's all she wrote for this piece. Simple, right? Simple. Now, when we slap this on the piece, and you probably saw this here on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff before, this is kind of the final look underneath of, on the underside of the arm, right? Let's get this a little bit more focused. Just like that. And that just, it's a good composition right there. I like that. That looks complete to me, right? And then wrap that around with all of the other details that we put on this. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. And just as a preview, here's the upper arm that we're going to be working on in just a second, actually. So what we've done here is we've outline scribed this raised detail here, and we have essentially outline scribed this little bottom section here to make it look like it's completely a separate piece, right? Just that little outline scribe just completely separates it. And then, as a trick, there was this kind of heinous mold line right here, and what I went ahead and did is I just put a panel line there, right? And it was on both sides. So that just tricks the eye into looking at the panel line instead of this crazy mold line. The mold on this was just not perfect. It was kind of a little off, and so it left some overhang on this side, and then some basically some underhang on this side. So this side was a little low, this bottom part was a little proud, and then you had the opposite. This side was a little high and this side was a little low. So to camouflage that, put a line in there and do some notches and stuff like that, pull that design all together. This side was a little weird to try and do because these lines are right up against the corner there, right up against that angle break, and that was not easy. I'm going to tell you that right now. But we'll show you how we accomplish all this here in just a few seconds. But that, my friends, is the look so far. I think that looks really quite nice. Yeah, we're on the right track. I think we're on the right track. Yeah. So Let's get out of Super Zoom here real quick. We'll catch up with the chat. There we go. All right, so let's get caught up here real quick. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Christ. Okay. Okay, here we go. Christian Campos, he's got a question.
We have a question.
He says, any tips in rounded scribe lines, like a full circle? Well, for a full circle, that's actually a lot easier than kind of gradual curves. You can use something like, let me zoom out so you guys can see a little bit better. You guys can use something like a circle template, or if you can find them, a metal circle template works wonderfully, right? This plastic one you can probably find in most like craft stores and online and stuff. This is just by the company See Through. They're a ruler company and stuff. They make a ton of these, like, you know, drafting templates and stuff like that. So these are very, very common, but it's plastic, so, you know, it's gonna wear down over time, right? But if you can get one of these nice kind of metal ones, one of these steel ones, this is by a company called U-Star, and this was actually a Taobao score right here. These are actually metric sizes too, so this is actually really, really a great tool to have. But if you can score one of these, this would be the way to go. Now, if you're trying to do like full circles, I would not use a chisel. I would not use the back end of an X-Acto knife. I wouldn't do any of that. What I would do is get like a sewing pin and maybe mount that into a pin vise or something like that. Or if you're able to, if you have one, just what it's called a general machinist scriber. These are really, really good for this, because this is basically just a tungsten carbide metal tip, very, very sharp, and then you can kind of start to form this around, you know, start to trace the circle into the plastic. That'll start to form a V-shaped groove in the plastic, and then once that's established, once that groove is in that plastic, then you can go back with your chisel and square that line at the bottom, and then make a really, really nice clean panel line. So that's the way that I would do it. So hopefully that helps, right? Let's see. Bro Better Mr. Brian says, I'm already on a calisthenics kick, Julio. He says, bring it. Julio says, word up, I was going hard earlier with the burpees. Sweat and a half going, about to hit some weights. There we go. Zero Kai, Mr. Nathan, he's over there on YouTube. He says, Julio's nothing but a hoochie mama. Okay. William Wilms says, burpees is that exercise that the devil gave man as a joke. I hate them, but can't argue the results. I don't know. Burpees are very high impact on your joints. I'm not a big fan. Julio says, choochie mama. Results in a half. Okay. And Bro Builder says, you ever done Iowa drills? I mean, I've used to do Oklahomas back in my football days, but I think we're talking something a bit different. He says, you ever done Iowa drills? Yeah. Idaho corkscrews? What? Well, Written Wisely says, what got you doing? Oh, here, this is a question. So guys, new guys, real quick, formatting. When you want to ask a question, write question in big capital letters in front, and then that way I know it's a question. Then I can hit you with one of these.
We have a question.
Exactly. He says, what got you into doing builds like this where you're splicing the kits to this amount. At one point, I considered entering GBWC until I did more looking into the expectations. He says, builds like these just seem odd for me, but make me wonder why others get into such extreme customizations. It's art, man. You know, why does anybody do art? This is my form of expression. This is my art form, right? I want to make things that nobody else has made before. I want my projects to be unique, you know? I want to continually push the boundaries for myself to see what I'm capable of. So, yeah, pretty straightforward. Yeah. Brian says it's ridiculous, sprints and shit, crazy football nonsense. Okay. I guess those Idaho drills, whatever. Anyway. William Mum says this build is for the IG Team's Buildoff. Yeah, exactly. And Julio says customizing really feels like you're making your own shit. Yeah. Like I love snapping up a kit, making what they put for you. He says, but taking it and making it your own is so satisfying. Yeah, agree. Britton Risley says, even still, why? It makes me think of just doing 3D prints if you're altering the original this much. He says, I'm not criticizing, just interested in what brought some people to this point. Yeah, no, I mean, this is just old school modeling, man. People have been doing this for shit as long as there have been people that want to build a scale model, right? You know, and people, it's just like customizing cars or customizing anything for that matter. It's like upgrading your house, right? Just you name it. It's the same premise. You know, so for like me, when I made the Hummingbird back when I entered back in 2016, there is not a model of the Hummingbird. You can't get one. They don't make it. But I wanted one, so I made it. And you know, like the airdrop, they don't make parachutes like that. Trust me, I scoured the internet for days on end looking for you know, either plastic or resin or, you know, what have you, fully deployed parachutes. They're not out there. Nobody makes them. So I made them, you know? It's just a level of an achievement, you know? Like I said, it's my art form. It's kind of how I express what's up here into reality, right? And it's just fun. It's just fun making stuff. And yeah, I mean, sure, you could 3D print it. You could design it and 3D print it and let the computer do all the work for you. But there is for someone who is, you know, quote unquote, a maker, there's definitely a certain level of satisfaction that you derive from actually doing it with your own two hands. It's just there's a pride in it, right? And you know, you're making something unique, like Julio said. You're making something that no one else has ever, you know, made before or probably will again. There's something special about that. So, yeah. Julio says modeling and printing is nice and fine, but making it with your hands is like artisanal work. Wow. Look at Julio pulling out the words of the day. Was that in your calendar, Julio, today? Artisanal? Jesus. Commissar Stanley says, is there a way... Oh.
We have a question.
Formatting. Is there a way to turn a seam line into a panel line like on high-grade kits? Yeah, there actually is. What a lot of people do with, say, with two... With a seam line like this, right? Where two, and let's get zoomed in a little bit more so you guys can. Whoop, sorry for knocking the mic. But for two pieces like that line up like this, what you could do, and this is what a lot of people do, is take a hobby knife, right, and just bevel the one edge, right, or bevel both edges. And that way it will look a little bit more natural when those two pieces come together. It'll look more like a seam line. Now, they do make tools. BMC makes a specific tool called I think it's called a Danmo. D-A-N-M-N-M-O. Danmo. D-A-N-M-O. And basically it's like an edge scriber. It's kind of a metallic blade that has a small notch on them on either side at specific distances, and it just basically rides the edge and scribes that line into the very edge. I mean, you can do it with regular chisels, but you have to be a little bit more exacting at that point. So those are methods to kind of do that. Yeah. Brobutter says that's a yet. Written wisely. You can't bring yourself to it yet. Okay. Julio says you can totally do it. Get 2 high grades. Make a love child. I like it. I'm with it. Let's see. William Will says all I can say is buy a cheap model and then start. Again, Tim's simple detailing class is great to start. Yeah. Julio says word up. 2 IBO high grades and make something. We make monsters in here. Mecha monsters. Nice. Kelvin Branham is over there. He says, talked to you at 2019 SCGMC and was half joking about a 1/60th Jesta. The F-14 Tomcat reference, a gift given. Oh, gotcha. As I'm a plane modeler. Sorry, man. Just right over my head. My bad. Thank you, though. Britton Wisely says, hello, thank you for the encouragement. I'm still working on my paint choices, but maybe in the distant future I could get into things like this. I can do it to figures, but not with Gunpla. Dude, just baby steps. Baby steps. That's all it takes, right? Baby steps. William Webb says, always not pushing the encouragement. You will get to it when you're ready. Yeah, true. Chris Babb says, it's our art. It's our interpretation. Absolutely, yeah. Weapon X69 over there, builder. Build for yourself, do it badly. True. Julio says, yo, Tim, make an opposite of airdrop, like a foxhole. Why would a freaking 40-foot mechanized humanoid robot be in a foxhole? Whatever. Ranger Chris says, there's an idea, Tim. Produce your own line of builder parts. Man. If only. Rin Wisely says, the 2019 GBWC winner was amazing, but I was really disappointed that you can't actually get that kit. Yeah, I guess. Bro Builder says, hey, Pabby, baby. Whoa. Brian, have you been ingesting? Have you been ingesting some libations today? I don't know, man. Julio says, I got percent words. 5-cent words. This is what you get when you hold down shift, Julio. Yeah. Jesus. Superset 5 says, I'm late to the show. How is everybody? What's up, Superset? Good to see you. Robert Cottrell says, how long... oh, that's a question. Formatting. Question. All caps, you guys. Let's go. You guys can do it. I know you can.
We have a question.
Let's see. Robert Cottrell says, how long does it take to do one arm or leg when you're not online with the show? Not long. Not that long. If it's just straight scribing like this, let's see, this whole arm probably would take me, just rough estimate, maybe hour and a half, maybe 2, I don't know, just ballpark guess. But yeah, I mean, obviously I want to show you guys the process and everything. That's why you're watching, right? So yeah, if I'm not if I'm not on, yeah, it moves much quicker. Much quicker. Yeah. Julio says, yo, Mechanism going to be fun tonight. We need some DMC. Well, get to posting. Post in your... Hey, Julio, Pabs, Brian, Armida, anybody else that is going to be on tonight or potentially on tonight or whatever, post up in your stories. Get some questions going. Yeah. Do it. Just go. Go. Let's get some questions. Yeah. I'll do it after the show. You guys do it too, and that way we got a bunch of questions. Let's see. Chris Pab says you can stick a piece of polystyrene piece in between the two pieces, then scribe along that line. It'll cause a separation panel between the pieces, making a slight gap, but still go together. That's actually I'd never thought about that before, Pabby. That's actually a really good idea. Okay, so what Pabs is thinking or suggesting here is this. So you have your two pieces, right, that are the seam, right? But he says what to do in this case is to just, put a small little spacer strip in there that's just a little bit higher than the seam, and then that way, once you sandwich these two pieces together, then what you essentially have is you have a guide for your chisel to run down right along one of those edges. It's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. Yeah, look at that. Man, Chris Pabs, you guys. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Good job, Pabby. Good job. Jay Lynch is over there on YouTube. He says, hello, everyone. How you doing today? What's up? Commissar Stanley says, to be fair, they did make foxholes for tanks. Well, sure, but giant mechanized robots? I don't know, man. Ranger Chris, same reason tanks do it, to provide additional cover from incoming fire. Yeah, but they're so vertically tall. It's just... I don't know, man. Written Wisely says, remember the movie Tremors? Just imagine a Gundam instead. Whew, yeah. Bro Builder says, it's a mechanism day. Tim, what do you think? Oh. Fair enough. Fair enough, Brian. Fair enough. Julio says, I have been imbibing. Rockin'. Yeah, Sweet Tea Tim might make an appearance later. We might need to do that. Yeah. Let's see. Satoshi RX279 is over there on Twitch. He says Foxhole could be like a stealth shooting position. I feel like they've done stuff like that in 8th MS Team. I think they might have done something like that, right? If I remember correctly, they did like that. I don't know what the term for it is, but that camouflage like netting, with like the leafy material on it. I don't know the term for it. I'm sure somebody does. But if I remember correctly, they did that, like put it over one of the mobile suits and kind of from there. Oddmeister's over there on YouTube. He says, hello, everyone. Chris Pab says, oh shit, it's Friday. Yeah, it is Friday. How about that? Brian says, Julio, Catacombs run before Mechanism tonight? I don't know what that means. You guys have lost me. Zero Kai says, take an IBO frame from a high-grade 144 or an RE100 and start drawing some armor designs. I've been doing this when I have no IBO kits to kit bash, so I use the IBO frames and start scratch building. Nice. Fudabi says, Pabby is going to do a no-hit run in DMC. Watch out. Probably. Zero Kai says, also I need putty and plot plate. Someone help. Robert Cottrell over there on Facebook, he says, back on the foxhole, you can fine asteroid with a large hole. I'm sure there's more to that, or that's a typo or something. Robert, elaborate for me, buddy. You just, I don't know. Sorvon Zero says, yeah, they could kneel behind it and take a lot of verticality out of things. True. Yeah, true. Now, I remember in 8th MS Team where the ground Gundams walked down into kind of like this this pit. It essentially was a maintenance pit, right? To where it was just easier to work on, you know, the mobile suits and not have them like high up. You know, basically just cannon fodder at that point, right? So maybe. I just, you know, like, I just don't. What I'm picturing is like Band of Brothers, that Bastogne scene with the foxholes and everything, and it's just like them, you know, the mobile suit like cowering down, you know, amongst shellfire and everything. Like, that's what I get mentally, the picture I get mentally, but I can see where you guys are going with it. To each their own, I guess, right? Anywho, back to work. It's 4:21. Let's go. All right, so we are going to be duplicating that upper arm piece there. But first things first is I have to find the other one. Because I didn't pull that out before the show started. So now I got to find it. It's got to be in here somewhere. Famous last words. Oh, there's the elbow joint. So I know I'm close, right? Or at least I hope I am. Oh, here it is. Here it is. We found it. Okay, so now for this, we're going to go with 0.15, right? And we're going to start just by outline scribing these lower pieces here. Now, what I like to do, and here actually, let me show you what I was talking about, that mold, those mold lines here before. Let me get zoomed in here real quick and kind of show you the heinous mold lines here. All right, so right along there, you can see that highlight right there. That, my friends, is called a mold line. See how this is, let's see, let's get this back. There we go. This side right here, this little surface is higher than this piece, right? Now you turn it to the opposite side, and then you can even see even more heinousness with this mold line. You can see like this little overhang here, and then on the other side, and now this side is higher than this piece, right? So by putting a scribe line right in there, that separates the two, hides the crimes, as Adam Savage is so famously saying all the time. And it's not necessarily our crimes, it's Bandai's crimes at that point. So yeah. We lost YouTube on the chat. Son of a bitch. There we go. Let's get that caught back up. Ain't that a pisser? Alright, so hang tight, YouTube. The chat window is slowly catching up. It's about halfway through. See, if you're not actually on the YouTube window, it doesn't cycle the chat. But then once you navigate to the YouTube window, it starts cycling the chat up, comment by comment by comment. And it'll take a few minutes. Good old YouTube. Killing me right now. Anyway, all right, so what we're going to do first, while we wait for the YouTube chat to cycle through, we are going to start by outline scribing these lower pieces here. So we're just going to go straight perimeter scribe right around all sides. This is super easy. This is like beginner level scribing right here because you're following a form, right? It's a no-brainer. Scribing 101, if you will. Okay. We just keep following that contour right around. And then that piece, once you're done scribing this this perimeter scribe, will just magically look like it's separated from the rest of the piece here. All right. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Julius Dembski said, yeah, Pabby. That's kind of where we left off. Okay, so here we go. We are now caught up with the YouTube chat. Zero Kai says, also I'm using some Warbler for some scratch building since it's so malleable with heat and can take shape more better than plastic or styrene, but I'll let everyone know how it goes. You know, Nathan, there's what Brian had used it on the Flea. Brian, what's that heating plastic that you used? I know it's in the Amazon link, but I forget the name off the top of my head. Thebra, yeah. Thank you, Chris Pabs. Nathan, the Thebra stuff is an actual plastic material, rather than the Warbler, which is a little, I guess, grainy, right? And it's the same type of Thebra, yeah. And it's the same type of thing. You heat it up and it becomes malleable. You may want to look into it, buddy. Just a suggestion, right? Ranger Chris says ghillie suit. Yeah, well, I knew ghillie suit, but is that like for the larger pieces, like the tarps and stuff like that, or nets or whatever? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Final Fantasy pulling at me. You motherfuckers in the Final Fantasy video game bullshit, man. Get the building, you. Get the building. Ay. Rusam says ghillie suit is different, but follows the same idea. Yeah. Okay. Nathan says, Tim, I think Robert been sneak some sips of your sweet tea. Oh, you mean Brian? Brian, yeah. Sam L says, you started playing it yet? Haven't been able to focus on it. Final Fantasy says, yeah, I got it a few hours in. It's great. Killing me. You guys are killing me. For real. Sam L says, I just did all the first set of side quests, going to play a bit before Mechanism tonight. Julius Dembski, test. Thank you, Sarge. Brian says, glad the decals arrived safely, Julius. Nice. Nathan says, oh, wow. Okay, I'll look it up. There you go. Cool. Brian says, thanks, Pabs. I'm in the middle of painting. Thebra is the branded name. There you go. Yeah. I know Mike Wine used that on his current build, Gundamonium Works, where he made the little satchel for his little scene recreation from The Mandalorian, the one with the two speeder bike guys, and where the one of them punches Baby Yoda. So great. Galba Uruguay Javier says, I was painting the 160th figure that came with the perfect grade Exia. Damn, painting this thing is tough, right? William Williams says, yeah, for vehicles they are just called camo netting as far as I know. Oh, okay. Well, pretty straightforward, I guess, right? Yeah, well. Let's see. On Facebook, Marco Santano Solano, he's over there. Luis Diego Soto, check this. Right? Replying to Marco Santano Solano, Linda. Okay. Hi, guys. Robert Kochel says, asteroids are full of craters and holes. If you can find find one big enough, you can probably hide a mobile suit in it. Well, yeah, I agree. Or just drop it to Earth and like a colony, right? Satoshi RX279 over there on Twitch. He said Bandai's crimes of not giving me a master grade Gelgu Jaeger to bully all those 0080 GMs, dude. Trust me, I'm right there with you. Jaeger would be really, really nice. Superset5 over there on Twitch as well. He says I've been thinking on a color scheme for my Alex 2.0 for all the white parts. I'm thinking on using a tan as a base, then go over with white for a off-white cream color, and for the blue parts using midnight blue. Thoughts? I kind of dig it. Yeah, I mean, you saw what Zach did with his Barbatos. He went kind of with a desert, like a sand color or like a khaki color. I totally dig it. I think it looked great. That with the dark blue, yeah, it's a good color. It's a good color combination. So I say go with it. Yeah. Full endorsement. Anywho. All right, so get back to this here. Let's get these parts separated, or at least the illusion of separation, right? All right, so we've got the vertical. We've got 2 horizontal surfaces already scribed in here. Now we just need to get this last horizontal, and then we'll move back on to the last vertical line. There we go, and the vertical here. All right. Make sure you carry that line all the way around. Wrap that line around all surfaces, even the bottom of this little panel here. That probably will never be seen. Just make sure you do it, because if it happens to be seen, then it looks like a full separation, right? So there we go. We've got our this little piece here fully outline scribed, fully perimeter, and now that looks like it's completely separated, right? So now we'll do the same thing to the other side here, just real quick. We'll start with the vertical on this side. And we need to be a little bit careful. Hopefully my head's not in the way there. We need to be a little bit careful, because on this side, since we're having to deal with Bandai's kind of sloppy molding on this, we need to punch through kind of that raised molded bit there. So we just need to be a little extra careful with our chisel, and kind of scribe through that and try it. Basically make sure it doesn't stray from your line. Okay. Alright, so there's 2 horizontals done. Let's get the last horizontal line scribed in here. Alright, and we're going to finish this off with the last vertical. Again, we need to be careful of Bandai's molding errors here. So just punch through that little extra material. And then scribe right down the side of this surface. And then also, like I said, wrap that line around the bottom there. All right, so there we go. Now, since we are dealing with Bandai's molding issues, we need to trim this back just a bit there, just to make these surfaces flush with one another. Now we can do this real easy on this side because this is just a little overhang, and then we can just kind of scrape that surface just nice and flat there. Now on this side, little bit more work we got to do. So first things first, we just start by scraping this surface down. Just until that little mold line starts to disappear. And there we go. Good, 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 good. Now we got a little bit of a mold line right here on this side too, so we're just going to just do a little scraping on this surface there. This side, we can just actually go along here with our knife and just kind of trim off that excess, and then just scrape that to make that surface all nice and even and everything. So there we go. We've got a cleaned up little part. We've got our two bottom sections perimeter scribed and basically made to look like they're separated. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take care of this this fugly looking mold line. Thankfully for us, the 4mm scribing jig works. Actually, whoop, where's it? 3.2. I think it's 3.2 here. Let's see, where'd the 3.2 get to? I'm always losing that one. I'm always losing the 3.2. Is this it? Nope, that's 4. That's 2. 1.5. There's 1. Ah, here it is. Found it. So 3.2 is actually the perfect focus. There we go. So 3.2 is actually the perfect height for that little mold line. So we kind of lucked out in that that aspect of things. So what we're going to do is use our point. Actually, if we do this, because all of these are 4mm. So if we turn that upside down, that's actually a 3mm. So we can come in here and just scribe a nice line right there across that surface. And that will hide that heinous, ugly, ugly mold line. Just like that. And we might need to do just a tad bit of cleanup, but for the most part, this will look really, really nice. Okay. All right. Right across there. All right. So now for this particular side, because the lower side is higher than the upper side, we're just going to come in here with our knife and just trim back just a tad bit of excess on the high side. And what that's going to do is going to camouflage those height differences even more. right? Now, you saw what it looked like before. You saw the nasty, nasty height differences because of that mold line, right? So let's show you what it looks like now in comparison. See, there you go. Now, this side that you're looking at right now, this was the high side, this was the low side. Flip that around, this is the side that we just worked with and trimmed back. So this was the low side and the bottom was the high side. With that line there, you can't tell any sort of difference in height just with your naked eye. Even at 5x right now, it's insanely hard to tell, right? I mean, you'd have to look at it basically like this just to see if there's a height difference, right? Which no one's ever going to do. So, by putting that line in there, that nicely camouflages that that little height difference, that little molding mistake that Bandai so graciously blessed on us. So, sometimes you just have to look for creative solutions for stupid problems. Part of modeling. Let's see. William says, yeah, for vehicles, they are just called camo netting. Oh, we read that, yeah. VFX10 Viper. There's Josh. He says, nice. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, so moving on to kind of the more complex portion of this. 441. So we got 20 minutes to do this. All right, so let's get motoring here. This section here, and let me get actually zoomed out, and then we're going to super zoom back in at this level here, because I want to get it a little tighter than what we're able to do in natural kind of super zoom. And actually, let's pull it back just a little bit more, maybe right to a, yeah, that's good, right there. All right, so the lens itself is zoomed all the way out, but super zoom is turned on. So we've got kind of a nice zoom level for you guys to see here. Now, let's try to back the lighting down a little bit. Yeah. It's going to be more trouble than it's worth. All right, no, never mind. All right, so we've got these raised details here, and let's get, there we go. We've got these raised details here on this panel, and they don't follow a very logical way of doing this, because you've got the same level of chamfer or bevel or whatever it is here for all of these surfaces, no matter what height they are. They all bevel into one single surface there, which is just kind of asinine, because there should be a height difference there. But since this is the unicorn, of course it's not. So how do we go about separating that? Well, we have to, again, come up with a creative solution here. So these raised parts, very, very easy. We just go about, scribing those like normal. We just run around the surface, right? So, just like that, just a, easy straight line right around the perimeter of these things. But it's when you get to the bevels, that's when things kind of take a hard right, and we've got to do something a little bit more creative. All right. So there's our first set of lines scribed in there. Now, I'm going to turn this around to this side and just do that straight line right across here above that raised raised panel. Okay, so now we've got our line here, we've got our line here, now we just need to connect them across this bevel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to freehand this thing, and I'm going to try to follow this line around to the bevel, right? I'm going to do my best here to freehand that all the way around until those two lines connect. And that should connect right at that surface break point there. And it does. Cool. Okay, so very careful scribing all the way around this thing to deepen that line. And there we go. All right, so whoop, you can see there how we've kind of wrapped these lines around this raised surface there, wrapped this, made this straight line across this raised surface here, and then right there at the bevel you can see how that line follows this one. Let's get the schmutz off of there. Follows this line right down along that bevel there, and it connects to that other line right there at this angle break, right there. So that's the creativity that we have to kind of come up with in terms of scribing this particular part. It's not necessarily the easiest, especially for a beginner. But then this side is yeah, this side is fun. So let's work our way around here to this other side first, and then we'll tackle this back side here before we head out for today. So let's get backed out just a bit there, just to about like that. I think that's pretty good. And let's see, let's get our line set in here. Okay, good there. All right, so again, we're going to have to follow this line, wrap that around to the beveled edge best we can here. We're freehanding this. Just like that. Okay, so we connect these two right there at that angle break. Good. And let's see. Just like that. And there we go. There's our other side scribed in real nice. Now, let's see. Let's lower this light here. There we go. Get a little bit more contrast on this guy. Yeah, that lighting is a little bit better. So there you go. You can kind of see that, right? A little bit. All right, so now the next test for us is to wrap these lines around to this side, right? This side is obviously going to be a little hairy in terms of scribing because this is just a completely flat surface here. We've got a raised surface here, and we've got basically have a bevel here that is raised for this surface and for this lower surface, but not for this surface, but it still comes up on that surface. Not logical. Not logical. So, first things first is what we do is we wrap this straight line right around this beveled surface. That's first step. Just like that. Do the same thing for the other side. Okay, so that creates the basis for what we're going to do. Now, this is where the hairy part comes in. And this is where we're going to pull our 1, 2, 3 blocks into play. This is going to be free-handed. Completely free-handed, right? So, actually, I think I might turn this light back on because I need to see what the hell I'm doing. And let's see, is that in focus? Yeah, okay. So we need to freehand a nice straight line from this point right along the edge of that break point, right down to where our lower line ends at this surface. Not exactly easy, but that's what we got to do. And since I already did the first one, I know what the hell I'm doing here. So, steady hands, folks, steady hands. Is my head in the way? Probably. So I'm going to try to keep my head out of the way. All right, I'm going to try to stay low and keep the visor out of the way. All right, so here goes nothing. Just like that. All right. Nice light pressure. Just a little bit of material removal. You don't want to really dig into the surface. You just want to establish the groove. That's it. That's all you're trying to do with this pass. And yes, pushing into plastic with a .15 millimeter metal chisel is not ideal, and I would never, under normal circumstances, suggest it. Never. Making our baseline here right above this raised detail here. We want everything to connect right at the corners of these angle breaks. That's kind of where make or break point essentially is. just like that. Alright, so one side looks pretty dang good. Just basically cleaning these lines out here. Alright. Very nice, very nice. Basically just kind of trimming the overhang off here with the hobby knife. Just cleaning up the line right there. That's basically what we're doing. Okay, so that's one side down. Now, we do the opposite side. Alright, so let's see if we can't get zoomed in just a little bit more. Let's go just full on obscene level zoom. Okay, and what I'm going to do, so I know where the boundaries for the camera are, is, let's see, I'm going to mark right there, right there, there, and right about there. All right, so there's my camera marks, so I can stay in frame, right? So, without moving the 1, 2, 3 blocks here. All right, and you can see the line we just did there. So we do this one. This one's at the opposite side. So this side is actually going to be harder because with the way that I'm positioned, I can't see past the chisel. So I can't see where that edge is. It's just not possible, right? So what we've got to do, basically have a very, very steady hand and just gonna go super slow. Hope for the best. Okay. That actually looks pretty good. Just like that. Let's see. Nice. Nice. Let's see if we can't catch the shadow there. Oh, there we go. Now you can kind of see that line, that vertical line down there. It still needs to be deepened. We need to get that a lot deeper so it'll take the panel lining fluid once we get to that point, but still pretty good. Okay. All right, there she is. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Okay, so now, just kind of clean that off, clean the debris out and everything, and there, ooh yeah, see that looks really, really good right there at that angle. There you can kind of see how this separates now, right? Not bad. Not bad. Whew. Yeesh, ha ha ha. Whew. Fun times, right, kids? So there we go. Let's get caught up here. Josh says you're gonna add a piece of plot plate on the back. Pro Putter says, "Ouch, plot plate." Yeah. He says not easy. Josh says not easy indeed. Yeah. Brian says it's okay, Josh. We still love you. Aww. Josh is like, LOL, nice. Yeah. No, actually, we're not going to add any plot plate or plastic sheet or strip or anything like that. This is going to basically be the end product here. Just going to leave it nice and simple like that. Yeah. But that you guys can see that scribe line in there. Not the easiest in the world to try and get done, but I think it looks pretty dang straight and right up close to that angle break there. That separates the pieces really, really nicely, right? Because basically what this is going to look like now is that you've got these two outer pieces. You've got this piece and then its mirrored piece on the other side. Those are 4 separate parts now, but then you've got this big old section here that essentially now looks like it sleeves onto the upper part of the arm here, right? So that's kind of the look. And, I'll go back and add the 2 notches on here, on either side and everything, after the show and all that. But that's kind of the finished product for the upper arm at that point. So not easy, but not impossible either, right? So there we go. Good stuff. All right, kids, 5:02. Let's put this one to bed, shall we? Let's go camera 1. Let's get the good old Anaheim hat in here again. So, all right, so we'll be back here later tonight in about 5 hours for Mechanism. Hopefully we'll have some, these degenerates are posting in their stories and stuff like that, trying to get questions for DMC, because if they want DMC, they have to go and seek out DMC, right? Deep, meaningful conversation. That's what DMC stands for. So, I will post up on my Instagram stories asking for questions. I'll probably post up on the Mecha Army Facebook group, and if you got some deep, meaningful conversation starters, some questions and stuff like that, come on and ask them, and we'll try to get through to them on tonight's show. Fair? All right, good stuff. And I don't think we're going to go 4 hours again tonight. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know if I have it in me. But definitely the normal 2, absolutely, right? All right, so with that being said, if y'all want one of these cool-ass Anaheim Electronics hats, go hit up www.childofmecha.com, hit the store button up at the top. You will find this hat in this nice gray color. You'll also find it in navy. You'll find many more hats than this. You'll find shirts, and you'll find prints of like my workflow and my models and stuff like that. So if you want to load up on that stuff, that would be great too. Aside from that, if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we worked with here today, I highly suggest you hit up the Amazon link below here on Twitch and YouTube. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it does not increase the price for you. And, it goes to help me out, goes to help out the stream and all of our future endeavors here with what we're going to be doing. So, go take a look at that. Go load up on some stuff, and yeah, have fun with it. Aside from that, if you are interested in paints or model kits, accessories, tools, what have you, Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2, they're in stock and shipping now. Hit up our good friends right down here. USA Gundam Store, Adam and his crew down there, fine folks, will definitely have what you need. So, with that being said, you guys, We'll be back here in about 5 hours to do Mechanism. So, have fun until then. We'll see you later tonight. And if I don't see you tonight, have a great weekend. We'll catch you on Monday. All right? See you guys.